Hey guys, it's Space Sims, and we are back with more Virche Epic Lycoris, continuing our little after stories, and we were going to start Lucas's stories today, and like some of the naughty ones and whatnot, and that kind of shenanigans. So, I loaded up our save for the morning after, and we want to ventilate the room again. So we're going to do that, and we're going to skip, and this time we go to the marsh. Maybe I should head out to the marsh so that I can make something good for their hangovers. Hearing me mumble to myself, if that's the case, I can go with you. Lucas! Our teacher offered his company with a smile, perhaps from hearing my murmuring. I would usually refuse and head out myself, but I'm not fit to go out to the marsh myself right now. Thank you, Lucas. If you don't mind, would you accompany me? I'd be more than happy. Let me handle carrying the groceries. He's like, good, these chuckle folks all drank themselves into a stupor, and I get time with her. Smart. He's smart. I tagged along, hiding in my teacher's shadow as we headed into the marsh. The people didn't seem to notice me despite the accusations, probably because of the bustling crowd today. This and this. I do recall the doctor I see telling me these work well for those having hangovers. My teacher brought the ingredients I was planning on buying without any worry. The shopping went really smooth because of you, monsieur. Is there something else you think we need to buy? Let me see. If anything. For some reason, my teacher responded a bit embarrassingly. Yeah, he's blushing. Oh, there's a CG of... Oh my god, it's adorable. I'm sorry. They gave us... The Mathis CG was, like, slightly horrifying and, like, a little... But, like, look at Lucas. Look at how beautiful and adorable. Look at his little teefies. Look at his little things. It's so cute. I'm sorry. Do you mind if we go and buy ingredients for about 10 people for lunch? He mumbled into my ear so that others around us couldn't hear. 10? The amount means that it wasn't meant for us. Is this for yourself, Lucas? Embarrassing as it sounds, yes. These kinds of opportunities don't come often for me to enjoy eating to my fill. With his face cupped in his hands, he said very clearly he could eat it all himself, despite his feminine looks. That's so mean. Sorry. It's because he's, like, gangly, but, like, don't be like, oh, he's... Feminine looks is more like his face is feminine. He's beautiful and glorious hair. But she's referring to his body type, and that's just... There's something wrong about that. Like, oh, he looks like a girl because he's skinny? Like, we know he's nothing but muscle underneath all that. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you could be gangly, muscly, and not be called feminine. I'm just, like... I mean, objectively, he's beautiful, so I could see them saying that in, like, again, like his, like, facial features, but it's really odd because you know they're talking about his appetite and his ability to pack away 10 fucking lunches and be skinny AF still, you know? It's not... It's rude. That's all I'm saying, it's rude. Now that I think about it, you were eating and drinking a lot last night. Yes. As you might already know, I'm a heavy eater. Heavy eater. I wish I had the problem where I could pack away 10 lunches and still be super fucking skinny. Also, considering the muscle mass he has, I definitely do not have muscle mass. Pretty sure I don't have muscles at all. It was taking me some time to fathom his unbelievable words. Well, Mathis and Cyan did mention that we could buy what we wanted since we had the funds, but... Are you sure about this? I don't want to waste food, you know. He's not gonna. There's absolutely nothing to worry about. On the contrary, I'm actually holding myself back from eating as much. I see. His liver and stomach must be strong to consume so much food and drink. My teacher really defies his appearance sometimes. Even so... Understood. Let's get buying, then. I don't think it's embarrassing being a heavy eater. After all, you watch over the children with a smile too when they're eating. Well, yes, but it's still a bit embarrassing. Seeing my teacher blush from embarrassment was a little cute. He looks like he's blushing from joy. I don't even care. The CG was adorable. After buying the ingredients needed, we asked the shop clerk to deliver the purchase to Adelphe's house. I carried only the necessary ingredients and headed home with Lucas. As the sun set and dinner was served, the three finally recovered from their hangover, and I think so that's basically it. So it's just that little scene, with Lucas, but that was still adorable. So the next one with another Lucas CG is his heartbeat against his back. Okay, let's see if we can find that one. Oh, right here. The heroine's helping Lucas as a teacher's aide. One day, after playing tag at the orphanage, she falls and twists her ankle. Yes. Although I did play with the children at the orphanage. Spacey, might I suggest that you assist me with my work as a teacher's aide? Before helping with Lucas's work, I hadn't played with him in a way that left me so tired. I knew I needed to have more strength if I were to play with the energetic children all day, but... Right as I had that thought, a sharp pain ran through my ankle. What's wrong, Spacey? Lucas turned back at me as I stood in place. I'm sorry, Lucas. My ankle suddenly started hurting. Your ankle? May I take a look? Excuse me, sir. Checking out my ankles? Pervert? Yes, I don't think it's anything serious, though. I sat on a nearby bench. I was about to run my fingers over my ankle to see how it felt. Please excuse me. But before I could, Lucas knelt down and gently touched my ankle. Lucas! Please be a good girl and stay still for a moment. It'd be terrible if you were very injured. Lucas's slender fingers gently brushed across my ankle. Every time they did, a heat spread across every spot he touched. See? And this is why you weren't allowed to show your ankles to Victorian men. Not only because would they get all into a tither because of it, but if they so much as touched your ankles, you're going to get all hot and bothered because apparently your ankle is an erogenous zone. I mean, obviously it's supposed to be more like, oh, you've got a thing for him, which, I mean, can you blame her? Because he's beautiful. But, like, it's still just so fucking funny. Like, every time he touched my ankle, oh, God, I'm getting hot and bothered. Like, it's your fucking ankle. Like, why do I feel so nervous? I felt a bit awkward as Lucas was simply worried and trying to help me. It does feel a bit warm. Could it be that it's sprained? Huh? Oh, the heat wasn't from my emotions, but just a symptom of my injury. But the fact that you were like, I'm getting all hot and bothered with him touching my ankle, that you were concerned about it, though, says a lot about you, girl. Could it be from... I mean, then we flash back to this, when I was reading that, like, his heartbeat against his back, and then when she fell and twisted her ankle, the CG popped into my damn head. So, like, and I was like, this better not be the CG they're talking about, because we've seen this one from the first game. That doesn't count. But I'm guessing, we get another one. Well, and then it makes it sound like, is he going to give us a piggyback ride, and we're going to get a CG like that? Because that's what I'm picturing in my head. Ouch. I'm sorry I couldn't support you properly. Spacey, are you hurt? I'm fine. You kept me from falling. Thank you very much. Was it from when I tripped while chasing after the children yesterday? The onset of pain might have been delayed to an extent. Lucas must have come to the same conclusion. Please forgive me. It was because I didn't catch you properly. No, that's not true. In fact, I got away with just a sprained ankle because you caught me. But I think I'll have to take my time walking with this pain. Please go ahead and head home first, Lucas. And that will absolutely not do. To leave not only a precious student of mine behind, but an injured woman at that, is something I can never forgive myself for. But if you were to walk with me, you'd be home considerably late. That's quite all right. I don't have any other business elsewhere today. How about we just take our time until your pain recedes? Lucas smiled gently as he sat next to me. Lucas, thank you. You have no need to thank me. I wanted to spend some time with you. I know this might be an inappropriate time to ask since you were just recently hurt. But do you like helping me with my work? Yes, absolutely. I didn't hesitate to nod my head in response to Lucas's question. Not only am I able to help the children with their studies, I feel like I'm learning so much from them too. That's great to hear. It's true. To present your feelings with honesty, to not be swept up by the pace of those around you, and to have your own way of thinking. There are several things such as those that we can learn from the children. Lucas's eyes narrowed as he happily thought back on other lessons he taught. And there have been so many times I've been saved by the children's innocence as well. Of course, by you when you were my student. Well, at this point he was just being overly nice. I mean, back then I was so afraid of interacting with anyone else, I even avoided you, Lucas. I'm sure I wasn't exactly a great student. But you were always listening so eagerly to my lessons and sincerely enjoyed them, right? The very few times I attended Lucas's lessons, he remembered them without hesitation. How? There must have been so many others who were good students that left a stronger impression on him. Well, no, because none of them that he was like, well, hello. He didn't fall in love with any of them. Although, how old was I when you started teaching me? But we'll just say that doesn't matter because it's like Lucas just remembers everybody that he teaches because he's just that good. See, I remember all my students. He's got that perfect teacher memory. You know what I mean? And then, and again, he hasn't been teaching that long. It's not like, I've been teaching kids for 20 years. He's like 22 and on his deathbed, and he's not going to become a reliever. So you haven't been teaching that long, although there's a lot of orphan kids out here. So, but still, it's probably not as many kids that he has been teaching that a normal teacher would teach in like a 10-year period of time. You know what I mean? So he probably could more easily remember them all. And then you just, at some point, he falls in love with you, so then he's just gonna even remember everything you ever said or did even more. So, Even if you didn't speak much, I could tell by your expression that you truly enjoyed the lessons of Lucas Proust. To have been able to make one small contribution to the smile of a child that had been hurt by so much slander, that saved me in so many ways. Lucas, he remembered, or that, there you go, that too, you know what I mean? Like, I remember because, like, I'm thinking about all the horrible things people said about you, you know what I mean? Like, you're not just a normal kid in an orphanage, you're like a kid in an orphanage that everybody hates, so it's easier to remember that kid, you know what I mean? And then he fell in love with you later. That although I always had my head hung down, it was only during Lucas's lessons that I lifted my head up to learn from him. Just how much of a kind person could this man be? He was so kind, I started to feel worried for him. Don't worry, he stabs people too. He ain't that kind. I mean, like, kind in general, yes, but also has a dark side, so. But the me from the past that Lucas remembered and me in the present are different. At least I hoped so. Because right now I was able to look right back up at Lucas, sitting right next to me. I know it's a bit late to say this, but I truly enjoyed learning about so many new things from your lessons. I was now able to face him and tell him directly how I felt. Thank you so much for teaching me the joy of learning, Lucas. I'd like to be able to give the children the same sort of joy, too. You can. I'm sure you'll be able to. Even though he had no proof at all, Lucas declared his belief as if it were the truth. I truly respect you. for never blaming others even though you faced unreasonable circumstances. That's why I hope you'll strive to teach and learn so much more, and grow stronger with that kindness of yours. I will aid you on your way as well. I will. Without denying my past, he believed in my growth for the future. I was so happy about his feelings and felt deeply that I could depend on him. I want to become someone who Lucas won't be ashamed to stand beside. Aww. I mean, he's not gonna be, because, like, when you find out all of his dirt, no amount of your dirt's gonna, like, be worse. You know what I'm saying? We continued to talk for a while as the sun moved toward the one side of the sky. We've spent quite a bit of time here. How's your ankle feeling? Let me try standing up. Taking Lucas's hand, I tried to stand up. I was sure I'd be fine by now after resting for so long, but it wasn't as bad as before, but the pain was sharp enough to make me wince. It may get worse if you force yourself to walk on it. Then I'll just take my time heading home, so... Lucas began to speak before I could finish. Let us do this then. Here we go, piggyback ride. Lucas walked out in front of me, and then turned his back to me and crouched down. Lucas? I tilted my head, not sure what he was intending. Watching me as I did, Lucas chuckled with a smile. I'll carry you to the orphanage. Once you're there, be sure that Salome takes care of you. Huh? The suggestion was something I couldn't have expected. At least he's not carrying you bridal style. That would have been cute. But that's crossing a line. But a piggyback ride, it's fine. I can't possibly trouble you that much, Lucas. Please don't worry about it. I may not be too strong, but I'm strong enough to carry you home. What a load of shit. What a load of I may not be that strong. Bull fucking shit. He's just covering it. Because instead of being like, oh God, no, you're like light as a feather. Don't worry about it. Then we'd be like, wait, that's sus as fuck. So. And also, the children at the orphanages are looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm sure they'd be saddened if you had to take some time off because your injury worsened. Or is it that you feel uneasy about my taking care of you? No! I couldn't possibly refuse if he asked me with such a sad look on his face. Thoughts of feeling sorry for making him do this for me flashed through my mind over and over. But it'd be rude instead to reject his offer after being so nice. All right, may I ask you to carry me then? And let me down right away if I'm too heavy. Yes, leave it to me. I made my decision, and as Lucas's expression quickly returned, I leaned my body against his back. Are you holding on tight? If so, I'll stand up. Yes. After hearing my answer back to him, Lucas slowly stood up. Here we go. Yeah, this is what I was expecting. Okay. All right, it's adorable. Yeah, they gave him pretty CGs. I love the fact that we could see his little fangs. They really were like, let's put his pointy little teeth in there. And there we go. Are you sure I'm not heavy? Yes, I'm quite all right, so don't worry. He didn't seem to be lying, as his body didn't even waver under my weight. In fact, you're so light it actually makes me a bit worried. Spacier, you're sure you're eating properly every day? 16 meals a day. You're like, nobody eats that much except for you, Lucas. Yes, I believe so. I see. I suppose this is simply just how your body is. Oh dear, this sort of talk is a bit rude coming from me. Is it all right if I start walking? Yes, thank you for this. Lucas began to walk forward, careful about carrying me. This speed should be fine. Tell me right away if your ankle hurts from the shaking, all right? Okay. I grabbed on tightly to his shoulders so I wouldn't cause him any trouble by falling. His beautiful back, which looked almost feminine at times, looked so broad. It was very convincing that he was able to support and carry me. We were already so close that I hadn't really noticed it before. But Lucas really is a strong, dependable man on top of being my teacher. My hand squeezed his shoulder, shaking in nervousness. Spacey, is something the matter? Nothing. It's just I haven't been carried like this since I was little. It's been so long. So I guess I'm just a little nervous. That's true. As one gets older, the chances that you get to be cared for like this become fewer and fewer. Also, like, how many times are people like, piggyback ride? However, please just imagine yourself as a child again and leave everything to me. I might not be very dependable, but I can at least get you back home. All right. I couldn't go back to being a child. My heart was racing so fast, feeling Lucas's warmth and voice. With a gentle thud, I leaned my head against Lucas's back, trying to ignore how embarrassed I felt. Lucas continued to walk forward, hardly swaying at all, as if caring for a small child. But then he suddenly looked up at the beautiful sky. I wish this peaceful time I spend with you can just continue on. I suppose I just want to be more comforted myself sometimes. The tone of his voice felt somewhat lonely, and as we were enveloped in the light of the setting sun, as red as the color of my own cheeks, his words disappeared into the air. Cute! All right, let's see. So, right, that one we knew is what's her face. This is the Drifter. We already read that one. That is probably Capucine. Okay, so this is Nadia. So one day, the heroine and Nadia hear the tolling of bells coming from the church. They begin to think about marriage. Fun times. Bright white and ringing bells. So we get a little Nadia story. This one, I don't know, did this one say it had a CG? I missed that. I was just looking for the unread ones. But it might be a Nadia CG if there's one, obviously. Speezy, I can hear church bells. It was just past noon. Nadia, who was looking through fabrics while I was embroidering, looked up when she heard a sound coming from outside. There isn't a service at the church today. I wonder if something else happened. Church bells? Oh, it must be a wedding. I didn't realize it right away since there aren't many people who have weddings in Arpichel. So that's a wedding? Nadia must have been able to see a bit of it as she watched the ceremony with deep interest. Okay, I'm sorry, but if we get a CG in this and we're talking about weddings, I want to see Nadia put like a little piece of fabric on her head like she's pretending she's a bride and she's wearing a veil, and it would just be adorable as fuck. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if there was a CG or not with this one, but that's what I'm imagining in my head. How lovely! So many people are watching the couple make their vows to each other as husband and wife. Nadia's eyes were glittering as they watched the couple pledge their love to each other. I wonder if that dress is what they call a wedding gown. Yes, I imagine it is. She had probably had it prepared for this day. It's so kind of cute the way they're talking about weddings like they're aliens and they have no idea what the fuck a wedding is just because it's so rare and odd. And like for Nadia, like, having been in the hospital and fighting for her life and everything, like normal things like a wedding or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, okay. It's not on your register of like shit that you normally think of or you're exposed to. But then also in this country where like weddings don't happen all the time, that it doesn't like you know what I mean? Like I guess if you went to a different culture and you'd be like, oh, is that oh, you're okay, you call that, oh, okay. And it'd be different because like a wedding ceremony is completely different in different cultures, right? But think about your own, what you're used to, and you're like, to be like, oh, is that a wedding dress? You're like, the fuck doesn't know what a wedding dress looks like? You know what I mean? Because it's so rooted in modern culture that, like, you see it in movies and TV, it happens in books, like, people have weddings, you've been to weddings before. You know what I mean? So it's not a foreign concept. But for Nadia, she didn't lead a normal life, so like normal outside world things kind of are slightly foreign concepts for her because she doesn't really like get out of the hospital. And weddings being so like few and far between, like, oh, the wedding I've heard about though, like that they don't happen a lot. They'd seem like a foreign concept, but it's just so funny that like because you're like a wedding is a foreign concept. Well, I mean it makes sense, but it's still bizarre, you know. Anyway, And also, like, not knowing what a wedding dress looks like. But I mean, we also don't have, like, you don't have movies and TV and things like that, and, like, in this world. And the books and things that you have, unless they've magically floated here from other places, are books that people here have written. So you really don't have the globalization that we currently have where you can like go and research wedding services for other countries or like pick up a book where it's explaining something or a fantasy wedding ceremony. You know what I mean? Where like people are very limited here. So like, yeah, wedding would be foreign, but it's just still weird. Like death is common. People drop dead all the time and then they come back to life. Whatevs. But like a wedding? The hell? But it's just funny, you know? But I guess it's like it makes sense in this world that like things that are mundane to us that like happen all the time, you know, is like kind of baffling to them. I stood up and went to the window beside Nadia. Then what about the pretty lace she has on her head? She's gonna fucking put a piece of fabric on her head and pretend it's a veil. I know it. She better. Come on. The pretty lace? I hadn't seen many weddings myself, so I wasn't too knowledgeable. This is adorable, though. I squinted and focused hard on the bride in the distance. Oh, you mean the veil? It's an accessory the bride wears. A veil? The dress is really pretty, but so is the veil. It's like she's wrapped up in light. That sounds so poetic. If she liked the idea so much. Nadia, would you mind closing your eyes for just a moment? Oh my god, we're going to put a veil on her. Oh my god. What do you mean? There's something I want to give you. It'll just take a few minutes. She the look on her face was like, all right, bitch. Although she didn't understand what I had in mind, Nadia shut her eyes tight. I quickly began working with my needle to finish before she got tired of waiting. All right, it's done. Nadia, open your eyes. It is Nadia in a veil. It's Nadia in a little fucking fake veil. Stop it. That's so adorable. Listen. This is all I needed in this CG. It's so cute. Look at her. She's so precious. Don't let Capucine see this, okay? We don't need him getting all hot and bothered. Oh, dear God. There you go. As she opened her eyes, I gently draped the cloth of light over her. This CG's so pretty. Her surprised eyes, now covered in a sheer tint of white, looked back at me. What's this, Species? Take a look at yourself in the window. I gestured her toward the window to use as a mirror, and it's a veil for a bride! Understanding what it was, she shouted out with joy. Did you make this? Yes, there were some materials left that I was able to use. I made it in a really short time, so I'm sorry if it looks a little plain. No, don't be! I'm so happy! Nadia shook her head from side to side, eyeing how the veil moved and shimmered around her as it swayed. Do we look like a bride? Of course. You look like the happiest bride in the world. I'm so happy. I sure hope I can wear one in a real wedding someday. We will find the cure. We'll fix you. Don't worry. Dot worked really hard to fix you, girl. He even died for it. It would have just been cuter if Dot didn't die. Look, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. I want them to grow old together. Like, she was like the only person, like, he really cared about her. You know what I mean? Like, probably the only person that could have saved Dahut was Nadia. I'm sure any veil or dress would look great on you, Nadia. Oh, but I wonder if Lucas would be sad if you got married. Then you should just marry my brother, Species. We'll have our weddings on the same day at the same place. That's so cute. Stop it. Huh? Well, I don't think I'm suitable to be with someone as put together as Lucas. But I'd be happy if you were my big sister for real. Oh, Nadia, you're just teasing me, aren't you? You got me. But I'm being honest when I say I really do want us to be a family. Once you start seeing Lucas that way, I'll help out. Just let me know, okay? You're much more assertive than I am when it comes to romance, Nadia. But it was true. I think I'd like seeing Nadia as a bride. I was sure she'd be able to choose an honest and loyal man as her partner someday. The way Nadia can talk about the future like it's something that'll someday that like it's something that will come so naturally makes me happy. Oh, it was like she was saying she wouldn't give in to her illness. No matter what setbacks she faced, she always took on the challenge. She was stronger than anyone. I was so proud of her. My dear friend and little sister. Stop it, that's adorable. Yes, it does say an image. Okay. Okay, so I'm not sure with it. There's an image in this one, but it's like the final moments between friends. But I don't know who's in this one because it doesn't say. So that's. Okay, we already read that one. That was Hugo. That was the one we just read. That's a Mathis one that we read. That's a Cyan one. That's an Adolphe. That's Onko. This is. Okay, more about Salome. That's Eve. That's Onko and Adolphe. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is a Lucas one. Following Journey to Despair, the heroine awakens in darkness and wanders in search of a certain person. So this is like after a bad end. I mean, well, Crimson Lycoris wasn't exactly. These are like bad end ones, but I know there's another Nadia and Dahut one, so that'll be a happier one. We'll just do this one kind of in the middle here. So there's no CG for this, thank God. But this one is Lucas, so. I woke up to find nothing around me. Simple nothingness spread out to infinity. That was the only thing that surrounded me. Where am I? I didn't know where I was, or when, and not even knowing who I could be. I'm scared. Fear grew within me. Who am I? Where did I come from, and why did I die? I'm assuming we're us, because otherwise I would have said Lucas, so. I'll be with you in Hades soon, dear husband. I kind of forget this. Well, I mean, did we there was endings where we voluntarily like sacrificed ourselves and they killed us or whatever in the square. Vaguely remember it, but I don't remember whose ending it was, but I'm guessing it was maybe that was this one. I don't know. Oh, I was right. My name was Spacey. I was death who caused misfortune to others just by being alive. The person sleeping here is my lover. No, I'm his wife. The wife of Lucas Proust, who murdered so many people. I remember. I came out as the wife of the man who had massacred so many and was then executed. Okay, well that answers that. I still don't remember that ending, but whatever, doesn't matter. I'll to reunite with him in Hades. But, see, little things like this, like, again, like, there's certain endings I don't quite remember, so getting a little bit of a flashback of it or a little synopsis of it helps. Not replaying the whole first game where you're like, yeah, we know the basic points. We don't need the whole refresher. Like, if you're going, this specific scene, remember that one specific scene where that thing happened? I'm going to need to know exactly the scene and what the thing is that you're talking about. Yes. But, like, the whole game I didn't need to do. Like, because it still didn't help me with things like this, where you're like, oh, okay, this is like, oh, I came out as being his wife, so then I was killed because he was, okay, all right, okay, good enough. I don't need to remember the ending to get what the hell's happening here. I'm assuming this is supposed to be Lucas. It's saying, no, you weren't able to come to Hades. Sinners like me fall to Hades. Someone as kind as you is led to heaven, not Hades. Unless we're reborn, we will never meet again. The voice that came from above effortlessly shattered my last remaining hope. If what he said was true, this wasn't Hades, but a path that led to heaven. God was apparently a magnanimous being. He was inviting into heaven the one called Death, who failed to save those she loved. I absolutely refuse. Well, here's the thing. God would be kind of a douche canoe if you tried, your darndest to save people you love and you didn't succeed. And he was like, well, fuck you. You have to succeed. Otherwise you suck. Because, like, it's the intention behind it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing a nice act, but your intention is selfish and cunty, that doesn't make the nice act a good thing. It makes you an asshole. You know what I mean? So if you do something with good intentions and it turns out badly, it's about the intentions behind it, not the action itself. You know what I mean? So like, oh, God's so nice. He's letting me in. I failed to save my friends. Well, yes, because your heart was there. You were doing your darndest to actually save them, to help them, to do everything you could, and you just failed at that. That doesn't make you a bad person. Lucas going out and killing people kind of makes him a bad person. Deep down, it's a good person that did bad things, maybe, but he still did bad things. That's not morally, there's no question about that. He did horrible things. You know what I mean? Like, there's that morally gray of like, well, he is a good person at heart, but he did some horrible things. Where does he fall on this scale? You know? But to be fair, every single person is gray. Nobody's pure fucking white light. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's all fucking goodness. Everybody has a little bit of darkness in them. It's just a matter of like, well, okay, so you've had some negative thoughts, but overall you've done great. You know what I mean? It's the balance. You've watched The Good Place, right? It's all about the balance. You know? But anyway.
Hi, thank you.
However, my pleas had gone unanswered. I refused to go to a heaven where God didn't save Lucas and everyone else. My mind went blank, filled with light. Also, I mean, Lucas did some bad things on his own, but he was also mind-controlled and forced to do bad things, so I feel like those things he should have gotten a pass on. It wasn't his fault. But he did willingly kill some people on his own, so there's that. The name of the man I loved and all my memories of him began to disappear from my mind. Right. I finally understood why I was here. Ah! I knew that God was trying to give me the punishment of hope. I don't want to be hopeful. I want to be miserable. Now we're Lucas. As my body burned in eternal pain, I prayed that she was saved. Spacey, my beloved, the one I forced to commit herself to sin. As my punishment as a sinner, my body was burned and mutilated over and over. And this is nothing compared to the pain of regret from making her cry. But there was one thing I was certain of. I knew that she was being led to heaven, which was filled with light. Ah, God, thank you for granting the final wish of this terrible sinner. I was sure that unlike a sinner like myself, she would rise to the paradise of heaven. And that would be my final salvation and joy. The flames enveloped me once more. I was sure the punishment given to me would last for eternity. Even so, because you were saved, my beloved, I felt saved as well. God. I put my blackened hand over my chest as it burned and regenerated again and again. I pray that under your watch, my beloved family will be at peace. My beloved sister and the woman I loved. I prayed as I remembered their smiles. As I suffered countless deaths one after the other, I felt an indescribable peace. In the midst of eternal punishment until the end of time. And see, she's looking at it like, God is an asshole because he's making me go to heaven instead of letting me go to hell with my husband. But if you think about it in this case, well, God was nice because he wasn't like, fuck you, Lucas, you don't get to say. It's like, you want your sister and Spacey to be saved and like, cool beans, I'll give them a pass because they didn't do anything wrong and I'm not going to punish them just to punish you. See? So, anyway. Oh, we already looked at all of... Okay, yeah, no, we've already seen all that. So, let's see. That's Lucas. That's Mathis. That's everybody. This is... Well, this is Lucas and Eve. Oh, interesting. There's a choice in this one, but it wasn't under Lucas or Eve. Huh. Nadia wants to give a gift to Lucas for coming to see her so often. After discussing it with the heroine, they decide to consult Salome to think of the perfect gift. This is Nadia and Lucas and Eve, but again, there's a choice in here, but there's no CG. So I guess we'll do it, then come back and like skip through and choose the other choice just to see if anything's different. Okay, hold on to that one. Okay, that one. Okay, no, that's Onko. I want to see if that's everybody. Okay, that's Lucas and Mathis. We have not read that one. Okay, that's everybody. Kind Mother's Path. Okay, that's Salome. Okay. Okay, we already read that one. Okay, that's a bunch of people. This is Dahut. Okay, that's just Dahut. So, again. Well, see, this one has a CG too. But it's not listed under Mathis or Lucas. But there's a CG. Okay. And Cyan, Jean, Dahut visiting Nadia. Okay. I was gonna do this because it involves Nadia, but I suppose because we have so many, we have several other ones, and we don't really have a ton of time. So there's two now. One is Lucas and Mathis, and one is Lucas and Eve, and there's choices, and this one has an image. So let's go to this one. We'll start with this one. And then if we have time, we'll do the other one and the choices. So this one is the heroine listens to one of Lucas's classes at the orphanage. Mathis comes to visit and share some sweets when maybe the CG's both of them, so they didn't consider it. But because we've already done Mathis and Eve, and now we're on Lucas, it makes sense to do, anyway. Such a warm day. The slightest yawn could lull a person into sleep, but... Now then, let's review what we've learned. Does anyone remember what our lesson was about yesterday? Me! Not a single student in Lucas's class showed any signs of sleepiness. On the contrary, their eyes were gleaming with a hunger to know more.
Monsieur, now I know how to do that math problem I didn't know before.
Oh, excellent work. Let me draw you my special mark for a perfect score.
Yay, I got one! Hey, that's not fair. I want to get a mark, too.
Yes, of course, I understand. Let's see. I'll draw a special mark for everyone who can stay awake in class today.
That's easy. Your classes are really fun.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. If you'll all please open your books, let's do our very best to answer the questions. I listened to Lucas's class as I folded the laundry. The children always had such fun during his lessons that watching them made me feel so warm inside. As I savored that happiness... Miss Beezy, there's a lovely guest here to see you. Hello there. True to her word, Mother did bring over a lovely guest. In his hand was a basket with something inside. Hello there, Mathis. I stopped folding the clothes and quietly greeted my guest in a way that wouldn't disturb the ongoing session. It's so rare to see you come here. Is there something you need? Yes. You see, I went to the Martian Cheetahs with Jean to buy some sweets. I ended up buying too many, so I came by to give this to you so you can share them with the kids. With that, Mathis took a beautiful paper bag from the basket and handed it to me. Why, thank you very much. I'm sure everyone will be happy. Do you mind if we share these with Lucas since he's here for class? Of course. They taste great, so I'm sure Lucas will enjoy them too. Matheson glanced at the teacher at work. I believe It's the first time I've seen him teaching the children.
Oh, is that so?
He's right. Mathis usually sees him out in town or when he visits Karoon.
Well, then, might I suggest you join and watch the class in session? Perhaps in the future you might find an opportunity to teach your knowledge about translation. Watching a teacher conducting a class may help.
Yes, of course.
Then let me get some tea and we can sit and watch.
Mother had other matters to attend to, so we sat down quietly and sipped on our tea while watching the class in session. Each time the children gleefully raised their hands, Mathis smiled happily too. Class came to an end at noon. Lucas went around drawing special marks in the children's notebooks upon dismissal. The children each showed off the special drawings they received before dashing off to play in the garden. Thank you very much for class. I'm sure the children had fun again in class as usual. I brought some sweets, so won't you join us? Oh, may I, if you don't mind? It seemed he had noticed Mathis was here after all. Not surprised by his appearance, he decided to join our tiny tea party without hesitation. We headed back inside the orphanage, and I poured some tea and served the sweets Mathis brought. The taste lived up to his high praise. It was delicious and almost addictive. I was watching you teach the children. It was very enjoyable. I could tell the children really love you in your class. Thank you very much. Still, I have a long way to go as an educator. In fact, I study every day myself so that I can keep ahead of the children's growth. So you have to study hard just like the students? I could already see him at home studying and thinking about what to teach the children. I have to admit, I'm a little jealous of the kids. I only learn through correspondence courses. And I regret that I didn't participate more actively when you taught me before. I couldn't help but think back to that time. Oh dear God, he's gonna make us learn shit, isn't he? Oh, he's gonna make us do math! Oh my, it's certainly not too late for you two. Let me hold a special class session for the two of you. Yeah, I knew it. Damn it! Keep your mouths shut, you assholes! Mathis and I looked at each other and tilted our heads upon hearing his proposal. I mean, to be fair, you never really stop learning, do you? Here we go, CG. Oh, it's a CG of Lucas and Mathis. How adorable. See, now look at Mathis. He's adorable in this one. Now then, let's begin our special lesson, shall we? I thought this one had a choice, but I don't know. Are you two ready? Yes.
All right. All ready.
We responded no differently from students answering their teacher. Yes, very good. And now then, let's go ahead and solve some problems. Oh my God, he's not actually going to make me do math, is he? First, we'll start with some simple math problems. Keep in mind they aren't as easy as what I have the children work on. If it's like 2 plus 2, I can handle that at 6. I made them slightly harder to match your level of knowledge. Oh God, he's going to give me calculus. If you're not sure, we can discuss it further, but please try your best. Is this Kent 2.0? Is that what we're doing? Yes, monsieur. We'll do our best. I got right to the problems at hand as if I were a student again. Oh, thank God. He's right that these are pretty challenging. But if I could solve them, I should be able to apply what I learned to my bookkeeping skills here, so I would do my best. I stared at the problems as my mind began calculating. Following the example, I need to extract the value from this equation, but... I wonder how I'm supposed to solve this. Oh, this is like, who do you ask? Okay. Well, first we'll ask Lucas, and then we'll come back and ask Mathis. So, sure. May I ask for your help? It just zooms in on the CG and like a couple little lines different, but that's fine. So long as you put thought into the question and are looking for tips instead of answers. Thank you very much. If that's the case, it's about this equation. I did this and then this. Is it correct that I'm supposed to put this value here? Well done. I'm sure you can do the rest from here. Mathis and I pondered for a few minutes over our questions
sometimes getting hints from our teacher.
Is this correct?
Mathis handed his completed assignment to Lucas. He looked on expectantly as the teacher checked his calculations.
Correct. You did well answering them in such a short time. I remember stumbling over this for some time when I was still learning. You're very clever, Mathis.
That's amazing, Mathis. I'm still stuck on that problem. Mathis was able to solve all of his problems and successfully got a perfect score from the teacher. Well, he is a homunculus with God knows how many brains in there, so...
Look, Spacey, he drew me a pretty flower mark.
I'm so envious. I need to do my best, too. I was pretty confident about my abilities in math, so... In the end, I was able to answer all my questions. Fortunately, I also managed to earn Lucas's special flower mark of approval. Oops, okay, I figured that was going to be the end, but nope, here we go.
Today was really fun. Thank you very much for teaching us, Monsieur Proust. The pleasure is mine. I enjoyed our time together, too. And now that you've attended my class, you are my student. So if you want to learn more, feel free to let me know. And that applies to you too, Spacey.
Thank you very much. The time we spent was short, but I'm very happy I had a chance to learn from you again, Monsieur Proust. Can I ask you please continue to be our teacher?
Of course. And no matter how many years pass, you'll always be my precious students.
The flowers blooming in the garden swayed, seeing his smile. It was as if the flowers wanted to be on the paper again for another perfect score. Mathis and I looked at each other and smiled as our teacher's students. Okay, that was the end. Okay. We'll start that one again because we have a choice to make, so there. So it still counts it as unread. So we'll skip through, do what happens with Mathis, and then. I'm assuming after this it'll mark it as read because... Okay, so let's ask Mathis. Mathis, did you solve your problems already?
Partially, but something about my answers doesn't feel right.
Right? This one here seems like it's a trick question. Mathis and I pondered for a few more minutes over our questions, sometimes getting hints from our teacher, and that's basically the only difference. Okay, so there you go. Okay, good, and now that says red. Okay, so now the other one was, we do have a little bit of time, so we can probably manage that one. Oh shit, no, there was another Mathis and Lucas one. Oh crap. Because then there's a lot of Lucas. There's a lot of Lucas. Wait. There was a... Wasn't there a Lucas and... Dahut? Okay. That's the one we just did. Now there's this one, which is the group lives together while preparing to capture Boro. Mathis and Lucas happen to be together and begin talking about their backgrounds. So there's that one. And then there was also... Buffy. Claude family. And then Nadia wanting to give a gift. Okay. Because and then the Nadia and Dahut I was going to do... I didn't realize there were so many with Lucas. But why don't we do the other Mathis and Lucas one? We'll do this one because worst case scenario, the one with multiple with Lucas and Eve and Nadia, we can do later. Or maybe we'll just go a little bit longer today and get that one done too. And then the Dahut and Nadia one can be at the end because, you know.
I had been living alongside Spacey and others working to help track down a killer. I happened to be alone with Mathis, conversing with him about the different districts as I watched over his studies. That's right, Lucas. You're from Cheetahs, right?
Cheetahs, a district that surrounds Cernaval. Most of its residents own and manage various businesses. The district also has the second highest number of relivers after Cernaval. I mean, we should know that by now, but in case you need a refresher, how did you end up living in Cohen? Mathis asked his question during a break in between solving problems. Well, it would be quite difficult to explain my circumstances to him. It's rather embarrassing, but I didn't get along well with my father, the head of the Proust family. After a fight with him, I practically ran away from home and hid myself in Cohen. Is that so? I'm sorry. That question was a little too personal, wasn't it? Yeah, but you don't know it's going to be super personal until the person answers with, like, an answer like that. You're like, so what brings you here? My whole family was obliterated in a meteor shower. And you're like, oh, oops. But you know what I mean? You know? No, please don't worry. It's nothing I intended to hide. I'd already explained something similar to the orphanage where I worked as a visiting teacher. I haven't heard of the Proust family before. If you hadn't run away from home and were still living in Cheetahs, we may have already been acquainted, right? That's true. I wish I could have met you when you were younger and your brother as well. That's nice to imagine. I see. Though he was gone now, I was sure Mathis's brother would have taken great care of him. Seeing how earnest and pure he was made me feel so much at ease. What was life like for you in Cheetahs, Lucas? Which was why I had no reason not to continue this conversation with him. Although I didn't want to remember much about my relationship with my parents. While my father loved physical training, you could say it was part of his job. And I was forced to join him every day. Wow, that sounds tough. You seem to like studying more after all. Yes, I'm also quite the bookworm, and I'm determined not to lose to you. I snuck away from my father at times, constantly studying and reading. Yeah, that's just like my brother. He loved writing adventure novels much more than studying. Mathis sat as if reminiscing about a beautiful memory that resurfaced through our conversation. But after a brief moment of happiness, Mathis suddenly looked crestfallen. I was honestly confused. The minister's orders never once targeted anyone from the Claude family, and because of that and his desire for revenge against Boro, I had always kept a careful eye on him. However, this sadness is no act. He truly was saddened over the loss of his treasured brother. You're bumping me like you want me to pet you, but when I go to pet you, then you bite me. I don't know what you want. Although I couldn't tell if the one who was saddened was truly him or someone else. I'm sorry. I'm the one who mentioned my brother, yet I'm making myself sad over him. It's quite all right. That just shows how strongly you feel for him. I knew all too well just how grave the idea was of losing a sibling. As I told him he had no need to apologize, I swept my hand over his beautiful silver hair. Thank you very much. I knew I couldn't do much for him, however. I have to become a strong man just like you, Lucas, and protect the Claude family. I only have one hand, so hold on. There we go. Claude family, a noble family of Cheetahs, currently led by Mathis as head of the family. They have been in the publishing business for generations. Right now I'm the head of the family only in name, and I'm just living off the assets that have been left to me. Come to think of it, the Claude family is among the oldest nobles. I imagine just how grand those assets might be. Sorry, buddy. I had a bad feeling about this. Mathis, you don't need to answer this if you don't wish to. But about how much does the Claude estate require for monthly upkeep? Uh, um, um... Though surprised by the sudden question, Mathis used a sheet of paper to calculate how much they were spending every month. This should be the average, I think. Hold on. We're definitely going over time, and the bird's getting fidgety now because I was petting him, and then he got mad at me. So I gotta give him a break before he poops on me. As he spoke, Mathis showed me the sum, which was, good boy, thank you, enough for a life of luxury and Cheetahs for 2 full years. I felt dizzy from the amount, which far exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of money going into Jean's fucking experiments, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Have you ever been cautioned by Jean that you might be spending too much? I, I have. But I've had to offer money to Royal Guard members and witnesses to gather information about Boro. Oh, well, there's that too. Mathis, I imagine you're being taken advantage of. And even if the information you receive is true, you don't have to pay that much money. Huh? Really? Mathis seemed very genuinely surprised. I did guess his perspective of money was off, but not by this much. I couldn't let him remain this way. Mathis, once everything is settled down, perhaps we should talk with Jean about this together. Sure. Well, I do enjoy being able to speak with you, Lucas. There was a need to teach this boy about the average person's life, mostly related to expenses. That said, it was true we were able to live together like this through the financial support of the Claude family. I must be sure not to criticize their spending and be thankful instead. I hope as well that you'll be an outstanding leader in the future for the Claude family. One needed knowledge and experience to fight against the unknown and the unfair. If he lacked that right now, we adults needed to help him in his efforts to obtain that. Okay. Where was it? Was it on this one? That was the one we just saw. Where the hell? Why do I always lose it? Okay, you know what? We're over time, but fuck it. Let's do this one. The other one with Nadia, since it's Dahut specific, we'll do that when we wrap up and do all the little leftover ones. But we might as well do this Lucas kind of specific one here. So this one also has Nadia in it though, and it's more pertinent to Nadia. But Nadia wants to give a gift to Lucas for coming to see her so often. After discussing it with the heroine, they decide to consult Salome to think of the perfect gift. There is a choice in this one, so we'll have to run through it twice, but it'll probably push us 10 minutes over, but whatever. Why not? They're not usually that long, these ones, so. Now we're Nadia. Look, Nadia gets a little thingamajig. Nadia's never had a little title card like this. Aww.
I love reading all the stories my brother writes about in his journal. Not just because he has pretty handwriting, but because he can really feel that he enjoys spending time with his students every day. That must be so nice. I want to be able to give something to thank him. He thought so hard about it, but couldn't come up with anything.
What's wrong, Nadia?
Spacey heard my defeated sigh. Well, I'm not getting anywhere trying to think this over myself. I was sure Spacey would keep this a secret from my brother if I asked her. I should just tell her about what I was thinking. Spacey, I have something to ask of you.
What is it? Is it something you want to keep a secret?
It is, especially to my brother. So I was thinking, I wanted to give him something nice since he's always coming here to visit me.
I'm not really sure how this involves Eve, but
my body isn't strong enough to go around and look at any of the marshes by myself.
I see. That's a pretty big secret.
Spacey's smile was so pretty as she listened to me.
If it's all right with you, I could look for something at the marsh and get it for you, so...
What's wrong, Spacey?
See, Nadia, if it's all right with you, should I bring someone here who might be able to help us? We can all think about what sort of gift Lucas might like together.
Dr. Capucine was going to be in town doing some medical examinations and wouldn't be around for a few days. And after asking the acting doctor in his place, Spacey was using the hospital's transmitter to talk to someone. About an hour later, while Spacey and I were chatting on my bed,
I love you, but stop biting at my headset. Don't make me chuck you downstairs.
Oh my, I wondered what you were up to when you suddenly called me. What an adorable friend you have. Whenever did you meet such a lovely fairy, Spacey? A really pretty woman came to my room. It's nice to meet you. I'm Salome. I'm the mother of this young one and all of the other children at the orphanage. You're Lucas's younger sister, aren't you? You're just as pretty as he is. I'm sure you'll grow up to be a beautiful princess.
Like Salome just rolling up here with all the compliments, making you be like, no, thanks. She's not even complimenting us, and I'm like, oh, stop. Like, damn.
It had been so long since I talked to a grown-up woman. So I was a bit shy and couldn't help but hide behind Spacey's clothes. I hope that wasn't rude. She's so shy and adorable. I can see why you would want to help her. Yes, and that's why I called. Could you help us think of a nice gift that Nadia can give Lucas? Of course. I would have helped even if you didn't ask. Lucas is always helping the children, after all. I'd be so happy if I could repay him in this way. I'll do my very best for you, Nadia. Let's try and find a wonderful gift together that'll make Lucas happy. Miss Salome looked even more pretty, smiling at me so closely, although it made me nervous. Okay. I really did want my brother to be happy, so I did my best to give a firm response back. I was feeling really good today, so Spacey was able to get permission for me to leave the hospital from the acting doctor. I couldn't go far, but they said I was free to go anywhere in the district.
Like, we can drag her. Capucine never would have let her out.
It's been so long since I've gone out with someone other than my brother. I'm so happy. From my wheelchair, I looked up at the two women who took me outside. I'm really happy to be able to go out with you too, Nadia.
But don't push yourself. If you're feeling in pain, let us know right away, okay?
Okay. So then where should we go first? And Nadia, is there anywhere you'd like to go? Well...
The Marsh Summer Lively Caroon. Okay, so we have 3 choices in this one. Fuck. Maybe we shouldn't have. We're going to be here for a while. This one's going to be a very long part. So we'll just go to the marsh.
I'm going to go to the marsh. There are lots of things sold there, so I'm sure we'll find something.
All right, then let's head over there. Because I imagine it's not like the one we just did where it was I figured it was going to be a couple choices. There was like the 2 choices like we had in the last one with Mathis. And then where you're like, okay, yep. And then there's a 2 little line difference. But this is going to be like a whole scene difference, so.
Wow, there's so many people. All of them are here to go shopping?
That's right. I come here when I need to buy groceries.
And they sell clothes and accessories here too, so let's go around and have a look at each stall. As the 2 women kept watch over how I was feeling, we browsed the different stalls. Handkerchiefs, sewing needles, a pretty brooch. There's so many wonderful things, I just can't decide. Always a nice problem to have.
What sort of gift did you want to give to Lucas, Nadia? Like something he can hang on the wall or something he could use?
I think something he could use in his work would be great.
Then let's keep that in mind until we find the right stall.
After that, I went around the marsh stalls with Spacey and Miss Salome. I thought long and hard, and we talked lots too. And we were able to decide on a gift once the sky started turning red. I wonder if I was able to choose something that he would be happy for. But I was a bit worried. The 2 of them went out of their way to help me too, so what if he didn't like what I chose?
So maybe it's just that little scene and then we go, and then I picked something nice because that could be very common. So it's just like a couple. Okay, so maybe it's not too bad.
Well, that was on my mind. We'd arrived to the hospital.
I mean, the marsh was the best place to go. Why are we going to go and well, I mean, you go and see Eve, but like, what are we getting out of him?
After the acting doctor looked me over, I went back to my room to see...
Welcome back, Nadia. Did you enjoy your little adventure with Spacey and Salome?
Brother! I was pushed over to him and grabbed his leg with both arms in a big hug. It seemed he heard from the doctor that I was out and was in no particular worry that I was gone.
Thank you both for taking her out for the day. I wish I could have done so, but there was a visit during the day I just couldn't pass up.
Oh, if that's the case, we'd gladly take Nadia out on walks in your place.
That's right, Lucas. If you're ever in trouble, please rely on us. Thank you very much. When the time comes, I'll ask you to take care of her then.
As he spoke, my brother gave a graceful bow to Spacey and Miss Salome, after doing the same and giving me thanks to them as well. Brother! I tugged at my brother's clothes.
What is it, Nadia?
Well, oh no, I couldn't bring myself to tell him that I got him a gift. It wasn't any sort of special day, so he might think it's strange.
Nadia,
You can do it. As I sat there nervously, Spacey and Miss Salome gently pushed me forward. Receiving their gentle warmth and some courage from them, I lifted my head and... Brother, here! I held out the wrapped object I was holding.
what is this?
It's a gift for me. You're always giving me so much love, so I wanted to give you something in return.
Oh, look at his shocked face. It's adorable.
My brother stood there surprised, slowly taking the gift out of my hand.
Were you out today to get this?
Yes, it was my first time going shopping, so I thought it over a lot.
Nadia.
Oh dear, Lucas, it's much too early to start crying.
Please take a look at what Nadia thought long and hard about to get you. Right.
My brother held back his tears and slowly took out what was in the wrapping.
It's a beautiful pen.
In that moment, the gift flashed in the light of the evening sun.
Or a pointer, but I'm assuming it's a pen. This is a glass pen.
It is. I just love reading what you write because you put so much of your feelings into it. He crouched down and held my body tight. Brother, you're squeezing me too tight.
I'm sorry. I'm just so happy. Thank you, Nadia. I'll take good care of it. And this will be a treasure of mine for life because it's from you.
Thank goodness. He was happy.
It's adorable. Don't cry.
Over his shoulder, I could see Spacey and Miss Salome smiling gently. For coming along with me for my selfish request today. Thank you both so much. It was so fun being able to go out shopping with you two. I gave them the biggest smile I could to show them my gratitude.
I'm not crying, you're crying. Shut up. It's adorable. So we're going to skip through this whole thing and we're going to go see the other scenes now because we're already like 10 minutes over. So like, whatevs. Whatever. They're not usually, I mean, this one was, I think, a little bit longer, but then you got 3 different things. Some are lively.
I wonder if there might be food that my brother likes in a place where there's a lot of people.
That's right. Lucas does enjoy eating. I wonder if the gift changes each time.
Then let's find a nice place. It's possible we might run into an acquaintance of Lucas's as well. The place she and Spacey took me was full of people hustling about. Oh, they sell drinks here, but once you drink it, it goes away. If I give him something, I want it to be something that lasts.
Okay, so it's probably the pen each time.
If that's the case, how about we go to the marsh nearby? That's a good idea. There are plenty of small items you could get there.
Okay, so it's going to be the pen each time, I bet. I mean, and that's nicer that it's the pen each time because, like, you know, so the marsh is the right choice, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, because, like, if you think about it, like, oh, I want to get him snack. I mean, you could have gotten him, like, treats, too, you know what I mean? But the pen is something that he can always keep as opposed to, like, a little snack. So let's go to Karun and see Eve.
How about we go to Karun and to ask for their opinion?
Karun, a handyman business owned and operated by Eve. They handle anything from fixing houses, tending gardens, watching children, and even cleaning.
That's right. Eve might be able to give us some good advice.
Yes, let's go ask him. It's funny because because Eve's here for like 2 seconds. It counts him as being, but it's really just Nadia and Lucas. Well, I mean, Hugo's here too, but.
I see. So that's what you're here for.
It makes me feel good to be part of Karun. Thanks for coming to us.
Hey, I want get to meet some of my brother's friends as well.
Oh, that's true. Nadia might not have met them. Oh, how adorable.
Thank you for always being friends with him.
We're thankful to him, too. His lectures were always so easy to understand when I was at the orphanage. So you were thinking of getting him a gift, huh? I heard he likes drinking, so that's one possibility, but... Oh yeah, if you're gonna give him a gift, something that lasts might be nice. How about giving him something small that he could use for work? He'd be able to carry it with him everywhere.
That sounds like a wonderful idea. Then let's go search for something at the marsh. That might help Lucas with his work.
Thank you for your advice, you two. It's cute coming here and... Yeah, be sure to get him something nice. I hope Lucas likes his gift. So, like, coming here is cute because you get to see them, but then it's like Eve gives her the idea. Get him something to use for work when you go to the marsh. She's like, I want him to give him something... You know, and it's her idea when you go to the marsh versus she got that idea from Eve. So... Like, as cute as it is to see them, I like going to the marsh better. It was the better first choice, you know what I mean? So let's go special. Let's go to our other, because we got this CG now with Lucas and Mathis. Oh, I don't think this one... No, okay, that one didn't have any changes. And we can't touchy the things at the end because I don't have my touch screen, and you can't touch them without poking. Yeah, because you can't. That zooms in, but like the touchy things don't work. So that's a bummer for all you guys. If you want to see what the touchy things are, well, actually, Y is play, pause, touch, foot. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. So if the voices were on, we could just hit Y. Okay, never mind. So that's something to consider. Coming back to like hear the voices in the CGs at the end of the game when we're done. Okay. But anyway, then we have this one. We won't know what they're saying, but you'll hear the voice. But whatever. Because I don't know if subtitles come across on these, but... And there's little Nadia and her little... I'm sorry, this one is just... Stop it, it's so cute. And I was like, there's a CG, and then we're talking about weddings, and it better be Nadia in a wedding veil, and that's exactly where it went. Oh, stop it. So cute. So adorable. Look at it. And I think, yeah, we've already seen all the other ones. Oops. So now we can go and see our Lucas new ones. So this adorable one. Look at how adorable he is! Stop it! That's the one we have to end on. He's so fucking precious. It's too cute. Oh my god. So, like, look at this one for... I mean, this one's really pretty, too, but, like... They did really good with his CGs in this one. Like, these two. You know what I mean? Because, like... I'm just thinking, like, Eve's were good. But, like, they've gotten better. Like, poor Mathis. It's like... Mathis looks a little, like he's gonna stab you when he's losing his marbles. And then the other one, it was like he's a little dead in the eyes. And then Lucas... And then Eve's were kind of cute. You're like, oh, these ones are cute. And then Lucas's are just perfect. His are, like, goddamn ridiculous. Like, this one's beautiful. And then look at how goddamn precious and adorable he is in this one. This one's great. So, like, seriously, I have high expectations. I think Cyan's next in our list. Cyan is next in our list, so not tomorrow, but the next day. We'll be back with Cyan after stories. And actually, we'll see. So when we do... Cyan, depending on which ones we have, maybe we'll do the Dahut ones too, because there's at least two. One is Dahut and Nadia, but fine. That'll tie in nicely to this one. And then the one that we think might be Capistine with the mad scientist, well, I could pertain to Jean too. I feel like it's going to be Capistine because we've seen the Jean ones, and like, why would they not? If they have one for the Drifter and they have one for Spinel, they might as well have one for Capistine too. He was pretty big part of this in general, especially in Anko's story where Spinel was... Oh, dear God. Oh, the trauma. Anyway, but yeah, so there you go. That was all of, not all of them. We still have a couple left to go, technically, that have Lucas in them with everybody, but like I said, we'll do those more at the end and whatnot. So I will see you guys next time. remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.